so hard that we were traveling mountains.
Hey guys, welcome back again from Tampa Bay. Today I've got a test of the 2018 BMW R1200 RS. Had to make sure of the name. Doing a bunch of bikes today, and the names kind of run together sometimes. So this is the sport bike version of the BMW with their famous Boxer 12. Extremely different riding position from the other 1200 bikes. And man, I'll tell you what, definitely a different performance feel. Just came off the RS there, completely different bike. The power comes on in this one seemingly immediately, just in a little bit of a throttle pull. So this has what feel like clamp-ons, but they're not. I am definitely in a forward tuck, but not so much as a traditional sport bike. I'm not laying on the tank, still have distance between me here. But it's definitely a short frame. Let me adjust the mirrors here, see how they look. This is I'm not going to call it a modern bike. You know, it's got some cool electronic features, like the suspension, but take a look at that dash, and man, that thing looks 15 years old. Got an analog speedo on the left, reminiscent of other similar bikes from BMW, and then a amber backlit old style LCD gauge. Have to say, in this day and age of TFT displays coming out, not only do regular LCDs not look that great, but this old style of LCD really doesn't look that great. This is at least better than some. This uses pixels, so it doesn't have the shadow effect, and you don't see remnants of any unlit parts of the gauge. This feels very smooth. This does have a full up and down with auto blipper quick shifter. A little bit of a lurch like other BMWs on the upshift. Let's try it down. Oh, that's absolutely seamless going down. Literally, I cannot feel it. All I hear is the sound of the engine changing RPM on the downshifts. That is a slick auto shifter, auto blipper. Very nice. So, seating position, actually really comfy. This is very much like a Diablo seat. It's got a real nice scoop, but it is very narrow. I'm 250 pounds, 6'2". I'm not that fat down below. I got a big gut, but my gut is not touching the tank. However, my nuts are pushed up against it. I am very much in a little scoop of a seat. My butt's up against the back part of it, which is very tall. It's reaching up to about my belt line in the back. And then, like I said, right up against the tank. Very comfortable though. My legs are going right into natural scoops in the tank itself. Pegs are not as rear set as I thought they would be. They're really more like just a scrunched mid set. So my ankles are in between my knees and my hips. You don't have the rearward slant, which I can't stand on bikes. That's the main reason I didn't get a street triple. I love the bike, but I just can't stand the riding position. This one works very well. Excellent power delivery, very smooth on the roll-on. That wasn't even half throttle. Still has that nice kick. Now, this is true of other BMWs. You want to be up in the RPM range. And it works absolutely beautifully. Looking at the gauges here, it's very legible. You've got a big gear position pretty much in the center there in the far left of the LCD display. Your tachometer, however, is not easily readable. It's just this huge gauge up at the top. It looks more like a fuel gauge. The only thing that kind of helps you out is as you go up, whatever RPM 1,000 block you're at grows a little bit larger. So glancing down, I can at least tell what RPM I'm at. However, it's not easy at a glance to see how close to redline I am because everything's just black and amber. Speedo, like I've mentioned on other reviews, is very nice looking, but it would take some time to get used to it to glance down and see how fast you're going. The font is very small and it's very crowded. So I can't just glance down. I prefer a large digital Speedo readout so I can literally glance down and in the blink of an eye know exactly what speed I'm at rather than having to actually read this and see where the needle is. Minor glitch. Probably not a lot of people feel the same way, but that's just me. So we have a full electronic suspension on this. It's in dynamic mode right now. The roads are nice and dry. Been out a little while this morning. Hopefully we get around this car and can open it up a little more. Here we go. So I'm going to auto blip down to 2. See, like right there, I had to really look down and see what RPM I'm at. It's not easy to see exactly where you're at. And that's an issue because I also really can't hear the stock exhaust. It's very quiet and there's a lot of wind noise coming off this windscreen. I'm not quite in what I would call the slip bubble. Above 40 miles an hour, it's just... Now it does look like it's an adjustable screen. Not going to do it right now, but it does appear to be in the low position. I want to see how it does on a higher position. Let's see if I can move it. I'm not sure. Must be a latch or something. Maybe it's electronic. Let me see here. Go up into top gear. Let me come down to a normal highway speed. Alright, so 60 miles an hour top gear at 3,100 RPM. We'll do a roll on. Decent power. There's 80. Nobody's really going to complain about that. It's not leader bike power, but it's certainly more than enough for normal road riding. Can't believe how smooth that downshift is. It is exactly like playing a video game. You feel nothing. It's just slight sound change. There is hardly any vibration coming off anywhere. I feel a little bit through the frame and a little bit through the bars, but it's a lot less buzzy than other BMW 12s. It's just the geometry of the setup. The bars themselves are, I would call them normal. Not on the wide side, definitely not as narrow as a traditional sport bike. Tips over and turns and hugs the road exactly like you would expect, say, a 600 sport bike. I have a little bit of nosedive, actually more than I would expect. It's not a super firm suspension. Let's see, what mode am I in? I'm in dynamic ESA. So it should be giving me all it's got. Let's stab the brakes real quick. Quite a bit of nosedive. It could definitely do with either, for me at least, stiffer springs, some more compression damping, but it's not bad. I wouldn't feel the need to have to change it like on some smaller bikes. Not a lot of low-end torque coming off of this. Below, say, 3,000 RPM. I don't know if they've changed the tune, but it really does feel different. I'm comparing it to, specifically, the R9T, which I remember having a good bit more right off idle torque, but not quite as much top-end pull. This pulls a little bit more than the other 1200s that I've ridden. Even up in the upper range here, let's go down into second, we're at 6,000 RPM. Hardly any vibration. There's more coming through the seat than anywhere else. Just a tiny bit coming through the bars, a little bit through the mirrors. It's kind of at the frame at that level. But you kick down to 4, much smoother. And as it goes down, now it's just glass smooth. You're just gliding over the road. Feels like a 1600. Mirrors are about typical. I have about a 50% coverage here of road to elbow to still be able to see behind me. Nothing terribly unusual there. Some people would definitely want to change the mirrors, maybe put on some bar ends, although they're so far back, I don't think bar ends would be a real great choice on this bike. You end up moving your head way too much. Maybe just something with a little bit more width. And again, they're already the widest part of the bike. I don't know. There's no great solution when it comes to mirrors, unfortunately. When they work great, they're usually on a really large, wide bike. Clutch pull is on the light side, but about average these days. Not especially light, definitely not heavy. You do have adjustable levers on both sides. I love to see that. I don't like when they skimp out and only give you an adjustable brake lever. Controls look very good. You've got your GPS mount down here. It's not in the way of anything up front, and even mounted wouldn't get in the way of the dash or display. Cornering feels great. It makes the bike feel a lot smaller. It feels like a heavy bike. I'm not sure what the weight is, but it does not feel like a featherweight bike, like a lot of 600s. But at least it doesn't handle like a heavy bike. I like how low to the ground it is, but still gives you good enough knee room. I don't feel cramped at all. Excellent power delivery. I really love how this feels once you get above 3,000 RPM. It's an immediate, smooth rush. They did a good job with this tuning. All right. No hot spots on my butt. Very comfortable seat, unlike a lot of other sport bikes. My knees don't hurt. I'd say this is a win for taller riders that want a sport bike frame. That is for sure. Now, it's not going to give you the insane wheelie power of a inline 4-liter bike, but if that's not what you're looking for, this might be something to at least try out. Give it a shot. So I'm going to head on back here to Eurocycles of Tampa Bay. Definitely check them out if you're in the area. They've got an awesome staff and awesome deals. We'll see you next time.